a lot of my Black friends were like, oh my gosh, you're mixed, like, you're one of us, which was an issue when I left high school because, like, that's not okay either.
Yeah, I can see how that can be. All right, what's up, my people? We're checking in here today. I'm Yoru. We got another episode of ITV Inside the Vibe, and our guest today is a designer, painter, seamstress, and I give you Carly, who works even on the holidays. Carly. Thank you so much for coming through. Let me give you a little bit of an applause. Let me see if the speaker's on. Dope. Okay, so we're gonna do set the flow, get a little fun-loving questions to get you going, lighten the mood, and let's jump right into it. So first up we have is, what was your first concert?
My first concert? Oh my gosh, the
Yes.
Cheetah Girls.
Really? That's crazy. I don't think I've never known anyone actually go see them.
Yeah, when I was really little.
Wow.
I went with my dad. Yeah, we saw the Cheetah
That's
Girls.
fire. Okay. What was your first design ever?
My first design that I drew or sewed?
Could be anything, either way.
The first thing I sewed was, well, I'm just gonna say first thing I drew because that's what I remember. It was like
Dope.
a leaf with like a butterfly top.
Okay, very natural.
Unrealistic.
Okay.
Yeah.
But hey, dreams don't have to be, so that's still, I'm not mad at that. First vacation.
First vacation by myself without my parents was Cuba.
Wow, that's a pretty big one to jump off the porch. I'm not mad at that.
It was good.
First apartment.
Harlem.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that. A lot of culture there. First friend.
First friend. Oh my God. I would say my mama, even though she wasn't my little friend.
Yeah. Your parents will make sure you remember that. We are not friends. I brought you in, I'll take you out.
Yeah.
First job.
I worked at a concession stand at my rec center.
Okay. Very wholesome. First pet, if you've ever had a pet.
My dad, I asked for a hamster.
Oh, Lord. You look like a
No, but
hamster
wait,
girl.
it gets worse.
Oh, you killed the hamster.
My dad didn't like hamsters.
Oh, no.
He got me 2 mice.
Mice? That's not a
For
pet.
pets.
Okay. You sure it doesn't come in the house?
It was like a different kind of mouse. I don't know, we kept it in like a
There's different
cage.
breeds of mice?
Yeah,
I never knew that.
I guess so.
Okay.
As an adult, I wouldn't do it again.
That's crazy.
No.
I'm not mad at that, though. That's very
interesting.
Very different.
Very different.
Okay. First item bought with the first paycheck you ever had. Wow.
I was just telling Joanna, I bought these when I was working at my daycare. I got $20 a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's like pretty penny for that.
Yeah. I've had these since high school.
Uggs, listen, that durability, man.
Wild.
That durability is wild. Okay, first time you ever heard your favorite song?
Well, I think I have lots of favorite songs. First time I ever heard it, I'm probably going to say my parents, because they put me on to so much music that I listen to and love today.
Fire. That's dope that you can share that with them. Okay, and that's all I have for first.
Okay, great.
Cool. Learned a lot in a little bit of time. That's dope. Love to see it. Carly Holiday, ladies and gentlemen. All righty, let's get right into these questions. So the first thing I want to ask you today is, we're going to focus on identity, like who we are, what we portray ourselves as. And I would just like to know, like, have you ever thought about like what your identity really was?
What kind of identity? Like creative identity?
Let's go with Carly the person, and then we'll go with Carly the creator.
Okay. Well, I would say in terms of identity, I grew up being like a mixed child.
Okay.
So I think the question is often asked, even from a young age, like, what are you, earlier than other people?
Mm-hmm.
So identity, I am a marriage between my parents and their creative explorations, and I'm lucky enough to have them to like teach me and show me who they are and what they love to do through that.
So you're mixed. What are you mixed with?
My mom is Native American and African American, and my dad is Irish and German, but technically Scottish.
Got it.
Yeah.
So I guess like growing up, being mixed, I'm sure that comes with challenges.
Comes with interesting.
And like, did those challenges, did that impact like your journey into finding your identity?
I think, it's been a long journey,
Yeah.
but even like as of recently, I think every day it's a journey in terms of being more comfortable in my identity of, I don't know. What was the question again?
Oh no, I was saying like just having those because I'd call them vastly different because the cultures are different from your mom's side and your dad's side, and then growing up and like saying I'm all of these things.
Yeah.
And was that not like a challenge when you go to other kids and everybody looks different when you're growing up, but like you're this, but your identity is kind of like people kind of try to tell you what that is.
Yeah.
What were the challenges you would say you faced as a child like that?
I mean, luckily I grew up in a pretty diverse town.
Okay, that's fine.
So a lot of my Black friends were like, "Oh my gosh, you're mixed, like you're one of us," which was an issue when I left high school because like that's not okay either.
I can see how that can be. I can see how that can be.
So I think it's not. I think I wouldn't call it challenges. It's just growing comfortable with presenting yourself by who you actually are and not how you're perceived.
And I think it's interesting that you say like that was not a challenge, but it was like it could have somewhat of an issue because in high school, like I feel like we're a bit more green, we're more naive, we're more open to. I feel like we're more in touch with our raw emotions. So like like that's Carly. She's mixed. That's my friend Carly.
Right.
I don't really see her as the world sees her yet.
Yeah.
And then they're like, hey, like, you're one of us, you're mixed, you can do what we can do.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, because I know her as a person.
Right.
I don't know her as her aesthetic to the world.
Right.
So then now when you leave high school, and you're in college in the real world, and people are only seeing what's in front of them, now you have to become who they see. And now your perception is their reality. So what you really think, they could really care less.
Yeah.
So I'm sure
Especially
that
in New York.
No, I feel like when people say like America's the melting pot, they're only talking about New York. Like,
literally.
Like New York has every type of person you can ever experience, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting that like even the way you said it, high school can be this bubble. Sometimes even college can be a bubble.
Yeah, depending on where you go to college. People go to like
Exactly.
community colleges. Yeah.
So it's definitely like an interesting perspective to have on that. So I'm not going to call them struggles, but I guess experiences. Have your identity experiences shown up? Now, I know we talked about your personal life in terms of who you are as like a seamstress, a painter, like a drawer. Is that true?
I mean,
or just an artist?
Illustrator. I paint. I'm also a painter.
Okay, so you're just all around artist.
Author.
Because I feel like you have multiple mediums because you're also an author. So like, as your journey as an artist in those different mediums, has that identity experiences showed up in your art?
Yeah, the book that I wrote is called Oh My Gosh, Is That My Hair?
Okay.
And it's about like a little girl and the time your mom stops doing your hair.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a really, I don't know, pivotal point in a little girl who has curly hair.
Yes.
Because it's no longer sit there and get it done. It's like, what am I gonna do with my hair today?
Whole different
I never had to do this before.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of that type of struggle, and I design very unisex.
Yeah.
And like bright, and I think that's just my personality. I don't know if it comes from those experiences, But I will say I design very comfortably due to I have like a joint problem. Yeah, I have a joint problem.
Is there a name for it, or is it just
Ehlers, it's called EDS.
EDS?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
EDS.
basically like whenever I overuse a joint, it gets sore and I get like sharp pains. So my feet too, I have to wear a lot of sneakers and
Okay.
support. So when I started designing, I was like, I want clothes that I can be comfortable in.
Include the community you're a part of.
Yeah.
So is there like I feel like that's like, sorry you're experiencing that. I mean, how was your journey? Like, when did you first realize, like, I guess is this something you get diagnosed with?
Well, I didn't get diagnosed, I guess, until like last year.
Really?
But they told me that I needed insoles when I was in high school. But they didn't tell me why. They just said like, you're fetal double jointed, but that was all. It wasn't that all of my joints are double jointed.
Gotcha.
So I learned from working a lot as an artist. My wrists, I would get cramps.
Yeah.
Where I couldn't even use scissors.
Wow.
Yeah.
You need the scissors.
That scared me because I was like, oh my gosh, what if I can't
Yeah, and I love this. So
it's my job.
Yeah.
Yeah. I make money off of this.
Exactly. Yeah. Wow. I mean, I feel like that's like a very like life-jarring thing to experience, to realize something I love so much, I might have to I gotta be careful how I use this gift because of my health issues.
Yeah.
So would
care
you?
of yourself because
it's important. I mean, I feel like as we get older, life and even your body will just tell you. It will tell you messages and things when you may not be ready to hear them, but like your body's like, no, like now.
Hello.
Yeah, like now. Yeah, that looks good, but no, listen up.
Yeah.
So I know we talked about EDS. Is there another experience that you've had that like kind of shaped not who people told you were, who you were, like who Carly is, who you identify as an artist, a person? You can kind of answer it whatever way you feel comfortable.
An experience that I might have had. I think going to FIT really helped me become a lot less afraid to wear what I wanted to wear.
Yeah.
You go to FIT and I think you hear that it's like a fashion college and you hear what they wear, but you don't really know until you go to class and everybody is like fitted down. Like there are girls wearing YSL heels, there are girls in Gucci, and there are girls wearing like clown outfits or like in their own world.
Yeah.
But it's so encouraging because nobody says anything and they walk around with confidence. So it doesn't matter what you're wearing. And I thought, oh my gosh, I can wear whatever I want.
That's fire.
Yeah.
It's like a world of where self-expression is like not only invited but like
encouraged.
Supported and encouraged.
Yeah.
Did you feel at home there?
I did feel at home. I think, school is a bit maybe I would say FIT is a bit traumatizing in terms of the amount of work they give us. And you make a lot of friends trauma bonding.
Yeah. Oh man.
And so you make your own home, I think, in spaces like that.
And do you still have those connections today?
Joanna.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Dope. She did say she went to FIT. I didn't know that you guys. Is that where you guys met?
She was my first friend at FIT.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Small world. And now you guys are inseparable.
Yeah.
I remember the last time I saw you was literally, I think we were leaving the Ashake concert.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I literally ran into you and I was like, this is so crazy. I never see anybody I know randomly in New York.
Out at Penn Station.
Of all places, but that's really dope. So we're talking about identity and all these experiences that make up who we are. Is there a part of yourself you feel like you could I would say lose and still be you?
Oh my gosh. No.
No.
Definitely not.
And when I asked that question, I'm sure you thought quickly. So what is is there a part of you that is a great representation of you? Obviously you're you, but there's something that when people see you, the people that know you, and they see something in you and you're they would describe you as, that's Carly's identity.
I don't know if this is bad or good.
Hey,
I'll say
workaholic.
Okay. I'm like always moving and like working and doing something. I don't know if it's like the ADHD or what, but yeah, I don't like to sit around and like not have anything to do. If I have a job, it's probably 2 jobs. It's like no jobs or many jobs.
Yeah.
There's no in between.
No, I want to say like up until by the time I graduated college, I think I had like 27 plus jobs, and it's just because like I mean, no one likes not having, right? So that's part of it. But I like to multitask.
Yeah.
Sometimes, some people say I'm not good at it, but those people don't really know what they're talking about. At least I say that. But I'm just like, I like to have my hands in different things because I think, okay, like I have an hour, but if I can either spend this hour doing 2 things or 12. Right? 12 maybe dragging it. But
It's definitely dragging it.
I fall somewhere in that, maybe 6 or 7 range, do a little here and there.
I need to learn. I'm a 3. Like,
but the thing is, like, I don't know, like, I don't really believe in like the signs, but sometimes they make sense, right? So I always notice like the friends who are like Libras too, we can either do like 10 things somewhat well or do like 3 exceptionally well.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say 3. Like.
But then it's like but the maybe the competitor in me or just the I can do it in me makes me feel like I can do 10. But I really think I can't.
That's called ADHD, yeah.
But the thing is, I'll never stop trying.
It's the oblivion.
But see, it's not. See, some people call it oblivion. I just think it's confidence, But, agree to. Yeah, blind confidence. But, sometimes I'll hit them. Every once in a while, I'll do 10. And because I did 10 once, I think I can always do it. But that's not just, it's just not true.
It depends what 10 things you're doing.
But I like to make sure, like, I guess the 10 things I'm doing, I don't want to go, they're not intense. Like, obviously, like, you can't drive and cook. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah.
But, like, if I can drive, like, sometimes I'll drive and, like, I'll read notes for an exam. Or I'll be on the phone while I read notes. Yeah.
That sounds compromising.
Yeah, but it's like,
I have illegal.
Maybe. Maybe. But I have a system. Listen, I have a system. It's like you read, I call it like the 2 and the 1.5, right?
I hope.
Listen to me, watch me. So I'll read, right? And then look up.
For how long?
Like I'll look up for 1.5 seconds. But you have to listen.
It's not the 2-1?
It's the 2-1. But listen.
It should be 2-1.
No, but listen, I'm about to tell you, right? So I'll scan the road, right? 1.5. So I'm thinking there's no cars either way. And with these cars nowadays, you have the rear view side cameras. So I have 1.5 seconds.
Unless you're driving a Tesla, I don't want to hear your view.
All the cars have, okay. Listen, the system works. Sometimes I will say I don't do it on the highway.
More than 3 things.
Yeah, I don't do it on the highway. But the thing of it is that I do believe at times that I can try to find these different things. And I think part of my identity is being a multitasker.
Okay.
And, I think everything I've ever gotten and everything I've ever lost in this life is a result of me being who I am. And part of that is being a multitasker. So I've come to accept it. But I'm still learning. Like I'm not just reserved to the fact that I have this, what some would call a problem.
Are you a fast walker or a slow walker?
Fast.
That makes sense.
Fast walker. That's funny you asked me that. I've actually never been asked that in my life before. But why am I walking slow? Well, unless it's like
I can understand why you feel that way.
Because you got to go somewhere. I would say I walk slow, like if we're like in a scenic place, like I'm chilling. But sometimes we got places to go.
My friend recently has been trying to get me to walk slower. I was a fast walker.
Yeah.
And she's like, why? Where are you going? Wouldn't you enjoy the walk more if you walked slower? Wouldn't you be more present? And I'm like, wow. I've never like thought about
yeah, like I've never
what
thought
my walk there looks like. Yeah. Like what my walk there feels like.
Yeah, because I'm like, why am I walking? I can experience it the same, but then until you realize, wow, like some of the best walks I've ever taken is when I had time to take them.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're walking and you just missed random things that are like.
The journey there.
Yeah.
Might be the experience.
Yeah, they say the journey is more important than the destination. But, still learning on that.
In New York, that's often the case.
But in New York, you cannot walk slow. Like,
but I mean, like, even on the subway, it's more interesting. Like.
But I feel like Subway different, though, because you got to pay attention for your safety. They be wilding in the subway stations in New York.
Entirely.
But, I will say, you've taught me something. On the walks I take this week, I will try to look and see what I see.
Maybe
and I'll try to take it in.
What birds did I hear?
I wouldn't know, but I'll listen.
Like,
Try to.
like.
You do bird noises too? Okay. That was pretty. That was pretty.
Pretty
Yeah.
Pop Smoke.
I feel like I've heard that before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard that before. I don't know what
Yeah.
bird that is, but I feel like I've heard that before.
You know.
So, how do you respond to the identities that people impose on you?
I don't listen.
But are you aware of them? I feel like at some point you were.
I like for a while I really struggled with perception.
Okay.
I really hated it. I think it like made me feel uncomfortable to express myself.
Yeah, because people already maybe had who they thought you should be.
Right, like
Yeah.
if in the beginning I was like worried about wearing headscarves. I was like, oh my gosh, like do white people wear headscarves? I think they think that like
I'm what's the word? Appropriating something.
yeah, or like do they think that I'm a wannabe? Like for a long time I was like even my friends would want to do my hair in high school and they would do my hair. But even going outside to like the mall, I'd be fine going to high school, but going to the mall is like a different story because people I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, what are they gonna think about me? But then not anymore.
It's always interesting because I feel like when you're a white individual and you find yourself in spaces that have like, I would say like more poignant or more visibly like affluent cultures, like I can just grab it. You find yourself in the place where it's like you kind of have to operate, for lack of a better term, as a guest. And if you do anything not guest-like, it's automatically stamped. What's that thing called? Culture vulture or appropriation. So then I always wonder like when you're someone who now this is all you've known, like you grew up with people who they had understanding that this could be anybody. They have an understanding of who you are. Like, no, this person is good. Like, they have a great heart, good soul, and they're just part of who we are.
Yeah.
And then you leave that bubble, and then now you get all these, oh, she's this, she's that, where it's like, I just grew up like, I just thought this was normal.
Well, I had to start like preparing. Like now, whenever I wear something or do something, like I know all about it. If you're like, oh, why are you wearing that? I'll tell you all about it right now. I'll tell you where it came from. I'll tell you who wears it, why they wear it. Yeah. And then we can have a conversation, and then you can perceive me after that.
But I think, in my experience, I think that's the best way. Yeah. Because a lot of times that education that you're providing yourself, a lot of people not only won't do it, but they'll actually feel respected and respectful that you took the time to, I didn't just put this on because it's fly and everybody's wearing it. Right. I know why. Now, granted, it doesn't matter where it came from. The reason that the fact that you took the extra homework to find out and empower yourself with the history behind something, I feel like a lot of people in your position wouldn't do that. And that's why when they're confronted, they get snarky and they get quote unquote entitled. But I think that's a great step. Because a lot of people, I would say, not even people in your position, people period, don't know the history of a lot of stuff they're wearing.
Yeah, and
so
sad. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I feel like some of us feel we don't have to because like, oh, this is something I have the right to wear or I have the right to experience, so I don't have to do the homework. But I think the homework, it is empowering for everybody. And you wear it with a different sense of pride because you know where it originated.
You even wear it differently, like how it's supposed to be worn. Yeah,
more in the natural essence of whatever I guess the piece is.
Yeah, like even my waist beads, I started wearing waist beads so long ago. But recently I saw a video of a woman saying if you wear waist beads outside of your clothes, it's a sign of promiscuity.
Yeah, it is.
That you want to.
Yeah.
And I was like, I never wear it outside my clothes. I just wear it under my clothes.
But you just would have never known that.
But I would never have known that way of wearing it because I see so many girls. Because now it's like a fashion thing to 100%. Wear them outside of your clothes.
And they don't even know.
Even
like to speak about like cultural components that people popularize. Like there's a section of TikTok, right, that people will call manifestation. That what I was taught growing up is like, it's like borderline witchcraft. So it's like they'll tell people stuff like, go eat a grape under a table or say the name 3 times in the dark and say this Latin like proverb. But that's what I'm saying. But like to someone who doesn't do homework, right, and has no idea, and is like, oh, some girl,
Well-
it says in like, hey, like I did this last year. I said this name 3 times and I got what I wanted. You can very much on the internet spew misinformation and market it another way. And
Right in the NBA, like they have their like everybody has their thing that they do. They want
yeah,
to win a game.
it's what do they call it? It's like
a lucky charm.
it's like a process ritual.
it's a
They call
ritual.
it pregame ritual.
Pregame ritual, right?
And like even the term of
so
ritual.
is that witchcraft?
See, here's my thing though, right? I think that ritual, the ritual word, the definition it's not really, it's not a spiritual association. It doesn't have to be, but it can be.
Okay.
Because like I'm not saying everything people tell you to do on witchcraft, I manifest. I don't think it's witchcraft.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times when you listen to the instructions of what they're asking of you, you should do your homework before you just listen. Because people get themselves involved and are opening themselves up to things that they don't fully know the history behind it. To the point of what you're talking about, you wear stuff and you do the research.
Yeah.
Some people are just putting stuff on and inviting things into their own home, into their own mind, without prior knowledge. So I'm not saying everything like that is, but I'm saying to the point of we need to do more reading before we assign ourselves to a lot of these experiences and
Even
rituals. Branding.
Brands
You don't know what a lot of
are-
these brands stand
are-
for.
Exactly.
Or what the names mean.
Tommy Hilfiger.
You don't know the history of some of these
He's
brands.
racist.
Yeah.
You know,
A lot
there's
of
so
those
many-
high fashion brands come
had
from,
some
and we still
issues.
wear them because
Yeah.
material's nice, whatever you put, like, and I'm not gonna act like I'm some holier than thou. If I like something, I'm gonna get it.
Yeah.
And I myself too, I'm speaking on this because I myself too need to do more homework into some of the things I wear. Because it's just easy to buy something that looks good. Like, I can't remember the brand I bought, but I purchased something. And my friend was like, "Oh, like, do you know, like, this is like one of the more racist brands ever?"
Yeah.
And I was like, I had no idea. I've wanted these shoes for so long.
No way.
And I'm like, oh, wow. I mean, I bought them now, but to hell with them.
Yeah.
Like,
right? You know,
now I
you
won't
gotta
support
try to
anymore.
not give them your dollar.
Yeah, and the thing about it is sometimes ignorance is bliss, but sometimes these things are information we need to empower ourselves with because it's like you need to know at times
matters.
who you are fully supporting.
Yeah, where that dollar is going. You know,
Exactly.
It matters.
So you said you're at the point now where you kind of don't listen to those imposed identities. When did you finally settle into like who you were, like who Carly is?
Can I say like last month?
Really? Wow.
I think every day I try to get more comfortable with what I put on, but like no matter what, in the beginning it's always like, oh, maybe a little bit second guessing.
Yeah.
I'll put on an outfit and I'm like, oh, I love this. And I'm like, do I love it if I go outside in it? Like, if I go outside in it, will I feel comfortable being perceived in this outfit?
Because you could love it at home, but not
Right.
outside, yeah.
Exactly. But then now I'm like, if I love it, I know it's going to be fire because lately I've been putting on outfits and without any consent from anybody else.
Yeah.
And it's been like so freeing.
Yeah.
And I've gotten better feedback than when I wear stuff that is like, you know, more natural fashion.
Because they can feel the
expected
confidence.
fashion, yeah.
Yeah. Because confidence, I feel like it's something that, it's not tangible, but it kind of is. You can kind of, if you look at just somebody's body language, look at their mannerisms, you can really feel like if they feel they have, you know, like you said, fitted down.
Yeah.
They can feel like if they're fitted down. And you can also feel like if someone's not, like the piece they're not really wearing that outfit, the outfit's wearing them.
Yeah.
So from your own experience, you're now like more fitted down, not only just physically, but mentally.
Yeah.
And you've like leaned into
It
that,
takes
who
me
you are.
mentally grounded to even know what you want to be outward.
Absolutely. I think in all areas of life.
Yeah.
I agree. Last thing I have for you before we get you out of here is who is Carly? Who is Carly Holiday?
Carly Holiday is an artist who wants to do everything. And just like you think you could do everything, I definitely think I could do anything that I want to do. So I'm not even going to say like just like multimedia because I just passed multimedia.
Yeah.
Like life is my art piece. So I'm just trying to live like a beautiful life. Carly was trying to live.
Carly's trying to live. That's dope. I like that. Well, Carly, thank you so much for coming through. I really like this was a great conversation. Definitely like picking your brain. And you have anything to shout out, socials, anything you want to?
Holiday Designs. You can follow that. And thanks for checking in.
Dope. All right. Well, this is another episode of Inside the Vibe. Appreciate y'all good people, and we will catch y'all in the next one. Peace. Stay blessed.